I don't know why, but I got that. More bounce to the ounce. I got that shit stuck in my head. More bounce to the ounce. I suppose I've been listening to a whole lot of California music. You know what I'm saying? Not that was from. I don't know where the people was from who made that song, but you know that George Clinton genre really did a whole lot to influence hip hop music. So you can't help but hear some George Clinton. If you listening to hip hop that's coming out of California, you gonna hear some George Clinton references for sure. Fritza, Miss Fritza, Queen Fritza herself, royalty has entered the building. Everybody, how you doing today? Fritza, what's going on? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm hungry. Every time, I don't know what it is, but every time Fritza comes around, well, I do know what it is because whenever I see the pictures of the food that she makes, it's always amazing. She's always making just these massive souffles of all types of just wonderful things, like vegetables over here, a whole bunch of meats over here, and then some shit that you ain't never heard of and never seen before, right in the middle. How's everybody doing today? Well, it is a good day. It's pretty. Ooh, is it really that cool? Because I'm going for a run after this. It says it's 79 degrees. There's no way that's true. Yeah, it's 88 degrees. Yeah, I was going to say there's no way that that's true, but it's a little bit cooler. You know what I'm saying? We got Stone. You said you saw George Clinton live. Well, I wish I could have seen that. We got Stoned Assassin. We got Teddy. We got Monk Without a Cause and Alonzo. What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Yeah, that would have that. Well, George Clinton's still alive. Maybe I'll be able to see him at some point. And one, I don't remember how old I was, but I saw Earth, Wind, and Fire live. That was a hell of a show. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but yeah, I gotta see George Clinton before he's gone. You said you made homemade roasted vegetables, pasta sauce. See again, like Fritza, she just knows what to do. Like she just has a special talent for cooking. Me, I just throw things together. I just like I'll go in the fridge, open it, and I just eat till I'm not hungry anymore. That's what we do. You said you ran by a lake today. Well, it's a bit cooler today, but we'll see what's up when I'm done with this. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it because we have some good news. We definitely have some good and encouraging news. That as I know all of y'all know, Kamala has picked Tim Walz. Excellent choice. I initially thought that he was probably that she was probably going to go with Josh Shapiro. It was looking like that, not just because of the rally, but um, there were some posters that was showing him with good stats, but also it seemed like maybe he was going to be the pick. But no, that's not what she did. She picked a much better candidate. Josh Shapiro definitely has issues. Let's see. It was one of them. I mean, there's a few. His general stance, just kind of on Israel, is an issue for a lot of the base, but definitely the progressive wing of the party. But also, there was some issue where like he ruled something a suicide that wasn't a suicide, to cover up or help one of his donors or some shit like that. Then there was some like sexual harassment thing that went on in one of his offices. It just probably would have it just would have given the Harris campaign um more issues than she needed. Oh, you said you saw Al Green? Oh hell yeah, yeah, nah, yeah. See, now we gonna end up doing a whole show just talking about live music, man. Al Green would have been a hell of a show live, but yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire, man, those brothers can still put on a hell of a show, but that was a while ago now. But yeah, no, Tim Walz is definitely. You said they reopened the suicide investigation. Okay, good. Yeah, it just seemed like he would have brought a lot more issues than necessary to the campaign, especially. Well, look, I mean, there's a lot to say, but regardless, I think that she made the best pick. Tim Walz is possibly the most progressive governor in the entire country who's gotten a lot done. He's not just a man of rhetoric. He's really accomplished a lot, whether that be helping to provide school lunches, helping to recreationally legalize marijuana recreationally, passing stronger background checks for firearms purchases. I mean, there's a variety of other things as well, but definitely a good pick. So let's go ahead and go through it a little bit. Vice President Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. And here we go. Quote, I share this background both because it's impressive in its own right and because you see in no uncertain terms how it informs his record, Harris wrote on Instagram. But what impressed me most about Tim is his deep commitment to the family, to his family, Gwen, Gus, and Hope. Gwen, Gus, and Hope. She added, referencing Waltz's wife and children. Doug and I look forward to working with him and Gwen to build an administration that reflects our shared values. We are going to build a great partnership. We are going to build a great team. We are going to win this election. Yeah, yeah, y'all are. If you just keep campaigning well, yeah, they're gonna win. Um, in addition to just the Republicans doing an absolutely horrible job at campaigning in every way that you can possibly imagine. I think they definitely got this in the bag. I thought that before, but now I really think that. Not even just because she picked Waltz, but I think for me, um, one of the biggest things. Oh, we got Mara in the building. What's going on? I missed you. Um, but what was I gonna say? I think one of the most promising things to me that she picked Tim Walz is it shows that she's malleable. I think that she's clearly a candidate that we can work with more than Joe Biden, more than Barack Obama. And it's just a good time for a lot of the things that the country wants right now. So definitely pretty promising right there. Not only is Tim Walz very good on on policy, but he also is very charismatic. He's um he's tough, he's sincere, and he's really likable. You know what I'm saying? Like whether that be just his character, he has a good time. He's just a really relatable person. We got Ulysses. What's going on, Ulysses? How you doing? But yeah, I think that America's gonna fall in love with him, or at least a large chunk of it. And I also think that one of the biggest differences between Tim Walz being vice president and Kamala Harris being vice president is, without a doubt, we're going to be seeing a lot of Tim Walz for sure. We're going to be seeing a whole lot of Tim Walz. Um, one of my biggest issues with Kamala was, where the hell is she? Where's Kamala? Because Joe Biden really, he doesn't have a lot of oomph to him. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt that Kamala could have been out there, but now it doesn't really matter. So again, I'm pretty excited about this. I'm definitely pretty excited about this. And let's see. Here, let's pick this up. Just go and read through some of these articles about why she picked them. But yeah, this really turned out to be a good ticket because again, I think that what we're seeing now is that I think that Kamala is going to have a relatively progressive tenure. Obviously, she's not going to do everything that everybody wants. She's may not be the best ever, but I think that especially she can get the House and the Senate. I think that there's going to be some pretty solid stuff that gets done, especially compared to what we've had. Yeah, exactly. Biden had Kamala locked in a closet. But yeah, let's keep on reading through a little bit more of this information. With her surprise choice of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, and again, I was thinking she was going to go with Shapiro. I didn't really know. I really didn't have a real educated guess on it, but I thought that that's what she would have did, and she didn't. Vice President Kamala Harris made a direct play to the Democratic base, not the electoral map, while betting that his plain-spoken style will appeal to working-class voters in the Midwest. In a rapid-fire speech for Vice President, Harris picked Walz, a folksy, often jovial 60-year-old former school teacher and congressman who emerged as a top choice among progressives and union allies. Waltz and his common man persona got the nod over Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, 51, whose popularity in his home state made him a strong option to help deliver that is widely seen as the most important battleground state of the election. I don't think that that's as big of a deal now. Not just because, again, there's so much excitement, much more enthusiasm on the Democratic side now, but also because again, the Trump campaign is just doing such a horrible job that I don't really think that that Josh Shapiro was like needed to be picked to win Pennsylvania. I think there's still probably a good chance of getting that state. Also, man, Tim Walz versus JD Vance. Oh my God, he's about to be lighting his ass up every which way that you can imagine. It's gonna be beautiful. Um, a source close to the selection process said Harris was drawn to Walz's executive experience and record. Her strong personal rapport with Walz and his Midwest roots and biography. A former high school football coach, hunter, and gun owner, a veteran who served in the National Guard for 24 years, and his connection with rural voters. As a congressman, Walz won in the district that Donald Trump, the former president and current Republican presidential nominee, carried. Perhaps most significant, according to allies with firsthand knowledge of Harris's thinking, the campaign sees Walz as an effective communicator to take on Trump. In addition to his really great record, yeah, this is important. I mean, in the very little bit that we've seen Tim Walz, um, I mean, he's just so effective. He's just so effective. He's bold, and you believe what he says. Sometimes when people put on a bold act, you don't really feel it. You don't really believe it. You kind of feel that they're putting on a show, but he's the real deal. I'd really love to see JD Vance come after him. He's tried. We're gonna pull this up in a sec, where he's like, "Oh, where he calls Tim Walz's record ridiculous or a joke." Yeah, like, yeah, Tim Walz's record is a joke, but not yours. What have you done what in the hell have you done as a public official compared to Tim Walz? Absolutely nothing. You wrote a book, and you recently got elected, and you flipped on absolutely everything. Yeah, exactly. He started the whole weird narrative. Yeah, definitely the effective communicator. We're gonna be seeing. I mean, shit, we might fuck around and see and hear Tim Walz more than Kamala Harris, to be honest, which I think will be pretty effective. We're gonna see a lot and hear a lot of Kamala. We need to, but I won't be surprised if we hear and see a little bit more of Tim Walz and let Kamala kind of be a little more in the background. Like in the boss seat. But we'll see. We're gonna figure it out. We will figure it out. But I kind of have a feeling that he's probably going to be seen and heard a little bit more than her. Maybe. We'll see. I could be totally wrong about that. He is incredibly dynamic. He is a fierce but happy warrior. Yeah, yeah. Again, he's just a real guy. He's just a real guy. Said Maria Cardona, a Democratic strategist and Democratic National Committee member, arguing he's a messenger for working class voters who have drifted from the Democratic column. Well, he has something. Yeah, yeah. I think Tim Walz can do a better job at reaching um key voters than Josh Shapiro could. Like, yeah, Josh Shapiro probably could have helped lock up Pennsylvania, but at the same time, again, Josh Shapiro has issues that would have caused problems for the Harris campaign. And I also think that probably outside of Pennsylvania, Shapiro's a good communicator, but I don't think that he really would be as effective as a Tim Walz. I think Tim Walz is more relatable, um, for sure. Shapiro's criticism from Democrats made for a riskier pick. Harris was officially named the Democratic nominee for president late Monday after a virtual roll call DNC vote. Walz is expected to be a frequent Harris campaigner in his neighboring Wisconsin and Michigan, as well as Pennsylvania, which together make up the blue wall and Democrats' path for 270 electoral votes. Others in the hunt for vice president were Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Harris's campaign kept deliberations close to the vest until the end. They did a really good job at that too, because I think most people who guessed or who had some type of a guess, most people thought, oh, she's probably gonna go with Shapiro, but she didn't. She didn't. Um, Announced Walz's selection by text message to supporters Tuesday morning. Nice. That's pretty good too. Let your supporters know first and let word of mouth spread it. The public jostling to be Harris's running mate exposed a struggle within the Democratic Party between the left wing that wanted Walz and others who argued the party should make an appeal to moderates. You don't need to do that. See, and hold on, appeal to moderates in the crucial state of Pennsylvania and its 19 electoral votes by choosing Shapiro, a second-year governor and a former state attorney general. I think a bigger concern for Shapiro would be those 19 electoral votes for Pennsylvania because that's a battleground state. But other than that, I don't really agree with the appeal to moderates because I think that Kamala already has that appeal. Joe Biden already, the Biden administration already has that appeal to moderates. Um, and I don't really see why Tim Walz can't or doesn't appeal to moderates because again, he has a progressive record, but I mean, it's a solid record. It's things that pretty much everybody is on board with. It's stuff that pretty much everybody agrees with. He's not he. So let's say, for instance, like a universal basic income, right? That I would say that that's more of a progressive position than like making sure that kids have food to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty moderate position that most people can get behind. Most people are okay with kids having food to eat. Like most people are okay with maternity and paternal leave. Most people are okay with recreational marijuana. Most people are okay with more gun restrictions. So again, I don't really see how that doesn't appeal to moderates because when you look at polling data, these are things that pretty much everybody wants. It's not like like single payer healthcare, which can get pretty tricky when you talk about it publicly, because then you get into the whole. You said he's also, yeah, he is really good. He is really good at interviewing. He is really good at that too. Are you talking about were you talking about Walsh or were you talking about Pete? Which one were you talking about, Mike Boy? But yeah, again, like something like universal basic income or single payer healthcare, that can rattle more feathers because then again, people are going to be like, well, how much is that going to cost me in taxes? But, you know, that's not, I don't know. I just don't agree with that reasoning at all. Why not means test for free school lunches? And he called it exactly. Yes, exactly. He was, what did he say? He was like, what did he say? Um, Oh yeah, he was like, "Oh, what a monster." He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm such a monster because I fed kids." Again, I don't agree with the appeal to moderates at all. Again, Kamala already has the appeal to moderates, and he said Pete makes me want to punch the TV. Yeah, the appeal's already there. Shapiro attracted criticism from some Democrats because of concerns about how he would approach the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, which is pretty much the key issue in terms of like the rift within the Democratic Party. I think it's without a doubt, it's definitely the Israel Gaza situation for sure. Good move, man. Good move. What a great pick. Like most Democratic office holders, Shapiro has criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Speaking of Benjamin Netanyahu, listen, the second this man is no longer in power, he is in trouble. Benjamin Netanyahu is in trouble. Like that man, dude, that dude, his own country really doesn't like him. The whole world is pissed off at him, and he's committed horrible, horrible atrocities, horrible crimes against humanity. And and that's why he's doing his damnedest. That's why he's doing his best to stay in power because mm, that'll be good because he definitely deserves whatever's coming to him. But that man is in trouble. Um, Drawing additional pushback from the left with Shapiro's support for school vouchers that allow public money to go toward private schools with charter schools. A source familiar with the vetting process said the final decision didn't reflect shortcomings with Shapiro, but rather Waltz's strengths. I agree. I agree because again, like even all of that outside, I think if she would have picked Shapiro, I think she could have still gone on to win, but it wouldn't have been the same. It just there wouldn't have been the same amount of like hope and energy. You know, people are really looking further down the line now. We're thinking more about the future now. We're thinking about 2028. We're thinking about yes, exactly. Fritz, he's a war criminal. Um, but yeah, he what was I saying? Oh yeah. Um, but now, we're really thinking about the future now. So just man, it's just very encouraging. Very encouraging. Yet also working against Shapiro was lobbying from fellow Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who according to reporting from Politico, raised concerns with the Harris campaign that Shapiro is excessively focused on his own personal ambition. Perhaps. I don't really know enough about Shapiro to say yes or no to that. I don't know. John Fetterman would definitely know more than I would. I saw some article that said that showed that was having Josh Shapiro being a little salty, but I don't know. When sources say things, you always got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't really see why Josh Shapiro would publicly say anything negative about Kamala's pick because it would just it just wouldn't be a good move professionally. It would just be stupid. So I don't really necessarily believe that that he was saying these things. And I think one of y'all pointed out that that Shapiro's speaking right now. There's more considerations than just electoral votes, said William Howell, a University of Chicago political scientist, adding it was striking that Shapiro, quote, made it this far, given his diverging viewpoints with Democrats in several areas. Howell said the folksy optimism and progressive credentials of Walz contrast starkly with what's going on in the Republican Party, where there's a lot of alarmism and a lot of talk about how the bottom is falling out of the country, a lot of grievance, a lot of anger. Yet Harris's calculus also opened attacks for Trump and Republicans. Yeah, but I mean, see, here's the thing, right? Like, once no one's mad but Republicans, it's game. We've won. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to a point, yes, exactly. Fetterman is absolutely a giant phony. Thank you, Dimitri OG. I'm doing my best, and things are coming along, man. We're making progress together. I'm definitely not doing this by myself. I wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't the support of y'all. We're gonna keep it going. Um, what was I gonna say? Or where were we rather? What did I just have up? But yeah, like I was saying, like once you get to a point where only Republicans are concerned, you good. You're good. Because like for instance, like Republican attacks on Waltz is like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if Republican voters are gonna like him. Again, yeah, they will. I mean, in terms of the Republicans who were like didn't want to vote for Donald Trump. Republicans who didn't want to vote for Donald Trump are either going to not show up to the polls or they're going to go vote for Kamala Harris. I don't see why Tim Walz would really get in the way of that. Like, or they'll say stuff like, Kamala's against fracking. Nobody cares about fracking. Nobody. I mean, what only, if you're an oil executive or maybe you're a manager in some type of oil company, then you might care about fracking. But if that's not the case, then I don't see why or how that would really register. But those are the types of things that Republicans are saying. Like, you look at the circuits, so like the Bulwark, for instance. The Bulwark is actually they're pretty decent. Like I've seen Tim, I can't remember his last name. Tim, he's one of the heads of it. He's not bad. Um, but some of the guests that they'll have on there are like, oh, he might be a little too progressive. Again, it once you get to that area, it's good. You good because we're not Republicans. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about this. All right, now let's start watching some videos. What does Mr. JD Vance have to say? Mm-mm-mm. JD Vance lashes out at media over Kamala Harris coverage. You guys have got to do a better job. Let's see. Uh Trent, you said you care about do you work in the industry or are you saying that you care about it in a sense of like you would like there to be less fracking or do you work in the space? JD Vance, let's see. Oh yeah, I just read that, my bad. Let's see. I can't wait. My bad. I was reading something else in the corner.
We're going to hit the road, but I want to make just one final observation. I know most of you. I like all of you as people, or at least I like the ones of you that I know. I think that you guys have got to do a better job at actually forcing Kamala Harris to answer questions. This is a person who's been the presumptive Democrat nominee for 16 days.
I don't really understand this line of attack either, because Kamala has done interviews. Kamala's done several interviews since she's been the presumptive nominee. So I don't really, you said hydraulic dragon doing hydraulic things. But yes, sir. Yes, indeed. But yeah, I don't really get this line of attack because again, Kamala, it's only been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks and some days, and in that time, she's done a couple interviews and she's done several rallies. So I don't. What do you think? She's just never going to get talked to? Of course she is. But they don't have anything to talk about. JD Vance is by far the worst VP pick ever. I mean, at one point he was losing 1 percentage point in favorability per day. 1 point per day he was losing. And he hasn't done anything. What has this dude done? He's 39. That is extremely young in politics. 39 is very young when it comes to politics because sure you want and we do need young people in office, but at the end of the day, politics generally is ran by older people. And that's actually a good thing because, like if you're like in your 50s or 60s, especially if you're a statesman that's worth a damn, you have more experience, you have more resources, you have more connections, you just been at it longer. So usually, again, in politics, people are a bit older. So that's why 39 is very young for politics, especially for vice president. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's a senator now, but what have you really done in your political career? Nothing. You've done nothing. So him versus Walz, who, National Guard for 24 years, was in Congress and has had a dynamic term. I believe he's done 2 terms as governor, if I'm not mistaken. Um, what has JD Vance done compared to that? Nothing. He has nothing to say. No real lines of attack. Man, this dude is going to get eaten alive by Tim Walz.
She hasn't taken a single real question from a reporter.
What are you talking about? She hasn't taken a single real question from a reporter. And at the end of the day, like, they just look they look pathetically weak. Like, you're losing.
The American people deserve to get to know the people who want to lead them.
And nobody knows Kamala Harris yet, but she's only been vice president for the last 4 years. America has no clue who she is. No, obviously that's, one of the biggest reasons that Kamala is doing as well as she is because everybody knows who the fuck she is. If the Democrats would have went with someone else, it probably wouldn't have been as dynamic. I don't believe so because nobody else is as well known as her. She's the vice president. You can just go online and look shit up. They're just whining and complaining. And again, this dude is a few years. I'm 32. This dude is 39. He has done nothing with his political career. Nothing.
I think it's shameful for Kamala Harris, but increasingly for the media, that she's taking a basement strategy of running from reporters and
what are you talking about?
Getting in front of them, answering tough questions about her record, and letting the American people know who she is. President Trump and I take.
Okay. So she won't do that, but your guy's the one who doesn't want to debate her on September 10th. Okay.
Hostile questions. We take non-hostile questions. We get out there and talk to people because we respect the American people.
Dude, shut up. That's all I think when I see JD Vance. I just think, dude, shut up. It's just, I mean, JD Vance versus this dude. Are you serious? Like, Tim Walz is gonna be like, okay, Alonzo 38. Again, like we're grown, but again, when it comes to politics, it's so young. It's so young.
Weird. And it's, they're running for He-Man Women Haters Club or something. That's what they go at. That's not what people are interested in.
Well, they're the weird ones. And if you've ever seen her with the laugh and everything else, that's a weird deal going on there. They're the weird ones. Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not.
Let's talk about some things that are weird. We think it's weird that Democrats want to put sexually explicit books in toddlers' libraries.
Toddlers can't read. Who's putting sexually explicit books in? And what the fuck is a toddler library? What is that?
We think it's weird that the far left wants to allow biological males to beat the living crap out of women in boxing.
Hey, yeah, honestly, don't be surprised if Trump and Vance end up not just losing, but losing really bad. Don't be surprised. I can't. We're not. It's still a little too far away for me to say anything like that. But if they keep doing this, come on, man. Like, what the fuck we just got done watching a clip of this dude talking about the American people deserve to know, and you sitting here talking about the left wants men to be able to beat up, but like, huh? What does that have to do with anything? Nothing. These people are just weird. They're weird. They're losers. They're lame. This dude is a
Kamala Harris comes to Atlanta and talks with a fake Southern accent, even though she grew up in Canada. You can't make it up. That's pretty weird.
Who cares? These people have nothing. These people have nothing at all. And again, I guess now their line of attack. But see, here's the problem with there's a lot of problems with the line of attack of Kamala's dodging the press. The biggest issue with it, right? Oh, you said you're Tyler Careed? well, shit. Maybe apparently your toddler's smarter than me, because when I was a toddler, I could not read. At least not that I remember. Especially not no damn smut novels. Right, exactly. She didn't even grow up in Canada. She went to school there at some point, but like she grew up in Oakland. But okay, so again, one of the reasons that this line of attack is not impactful. One, it's not true. It's just not. She's been in the press and she'll continue to do that. And honestly, for the next 3 months, I mean, she really can do whatever the hell she wants, to be honest. As long as it's working and as long as she's winning, who cares? She'll be in front of the press. And also, so again, one, this isn't true, but also, who's listening to this message? No, independents and swing state voters aren't listening to this message. This is just fodder for Republicans who were never going to vote for her anyway.
I think she has to.
Oh, and Vivek, Walz is a massive gift to Republicans. No, he's not.
Have a controversial, or at least fair and balanced, tough interview before, in this time.
They have nothing. They have nothing. Like,
where someone really goes after some of these different positions.
What positions?
And if she doesn't deal with that, then it's going to be like the thing that is just hanging over this campaign.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not. No. No. And again, who's listening to this shit? Who's listening to him say this? A bunch of 70 and 80-year-old Republicans. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, bruh, no. That's not going to be a hanging issue. People aren't all of a. Well, you know what? I've already seen her do interviews, but I want to. This is some of the lamest shit I've ever seen in my life.
To deal with it.
But we can't be the only media company that talks about it. 16 days without a significant interview.
That's true.
I mean, is it possible that she runs the clock until Chicago?
And again, who cares? If she wants to do that, she can. Who gives a fuck? What difference does it make? Y'all the ones who losing. Y'all the ones who in a bad position. Like, what if she doesn't do an interview from now until November, who cares? But of course, she's already done interviews and she'll do more interviews.
That'd be extraordinary. And then you'd have to ask yourself, what are you hiding? And what's your team hiding from?
Yeah.
All of her shit is public record. All anybody needs to do is get on Google and look shit up. And it's like the way that they're talking, right? The way that they're talking is it's just kind of like, well, maybe when she wins, we can like have a do-over or something.
Yeah. And it's going to be tough if she doesn't do it. I mean, it's going to be building and building and building.
What are you talking about? It's going to be tough. Who's it going to be tough for?
David Axelrod, interesting.
Bro, they're deflated. They're deflated. They know they're going to lose. They know it.
Interestingly said over the weekend, I don't think we have the clip to play, but he basically made the case that what Democrats are seeing with Harris right now is this euphoria, but it's really a sort of like trauma response to the fact that they were.
Who cares? It doesn't matter. You motherfuckers are going to lose. Nothing you're saying right now means a goddamn thing. Absolutely nothing. None of this matters.
We're so down in the dumps about the Biden reelection campaign for months and months and months. And he said he anticipates it's going to wear off really quickly. This is David Axelrod.
No, David Axelrod needs to shut the fuck up, because he was one of the first and foremost. He was one of the first people. He was one of the main ones telling Joe Biden to drop out. And now that he did, he's like, oh, like, dude, shut up. And again, let me tell you, no. The euphoria is not going to just disappear in a few weeks. That ain't happening. So again, that's why David Axelrod, that's why he gets on my nerves when he says stuff like that. It's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Just shut up. Like, shut up. Dude, what do you want? Do you want people to vote for her or not? And not just that, but what are people going to do? Are they going to be like, nah. I don't think, no, that's not happening. I don't even know what to say to this bullshit.
So
I think it'll be fascinating to watch the excitement or level of excitement about Walz as a pick. And is the left is obviously fired up, Labor's fired up, but are moderate Democrats who really envisioned going after.
And again, hear this bullshit. Here they go with this BS. You know what I'm saying? All this. Right, exactly. Axelrod, Nate Silver, who's always 8 weeks late to the party. And then again, once Republicans are talking about moderate Democrats, it's over. You won already. Because again, how does Tim Walz not appeal to moderate Democrats? How? He's a 60-year-old white man who is tough, charismatic, he's funny, he's relatable, and he has a really good record. What are you talking about?
Independents strong in these swing states. Are they going to be fired up about Governor Walz? Yeah. We'll see.
Thank you.
Bro, they're deflated. They're deflated. I mean, honestly, everybody knows what's about to happen. We just got to get to it. But oh, well, you know what I'm saying? We just got to keep on getting big over here. I'm sorry, Dragon Ball Super. I apologize for screaming. I'm just a little passionate right now. But yeah, we gonna get the brand bigger, and then MSNBC, they ain't gonna have no choice but to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm gonna be pulling up on them. But yeah, that whole if there was a year left, sure, then we could be talking about, oh, well, we're in a period of euphoria. But with 3 months, not even 3 months left to go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where is the euphoria? Where would it go? To Trump? Come on, man. Lindsey Graham laments Republicans have a lot of personality problems that go deeper than Trump. Every time I see Lindsey Graham, I think of one of the things that he said. He said, if Republicans choose Donald Trump, he'll destroy the party and it'll be our fault. And that's essentially what's happened. That's basically what's happened.
America can't stand this 4 more years.
You're a close confidant of Donald Trump's. You know, you flew with him to the Republican convention right after his attempted assassination. Why do you think he has struggled to, now that Harris is at the top of the ticket? You had said it would be a dramatically different race. Why do you think these last 2 weeks have been so difficult for him as he's been up against her?
So I think what you're going to see here is that now she is going to be the nominee. We know that for sure. I think you're going to see a very focused Donald Trump and a Republican effort from everybody to focus on the policy choices she's made in the future, she would make in the past, and she would make in the future. I hope that comes. I think that's coming. I know this. I've talked to President Trump a lot. He's worried about the future of our country. He believes he's the best guy to fix the problems we have at home and abroad. And to do that, you got to win. You got to win Georgia. So I am hopeful. Our problems are personality. Their problems are policy choices that are hurting the average American. And
actually, your problem is personality and policy. Actually, that's what's going on with the Republicans. In fact, it's why Republicans have been overall losing since 2020. And it's also why the Trump campaign is completely collapsing, because America's just tired. Overall, Americans just want to move the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly, Fritz. And that's one of the biggest reasons why he's running such a bad campaign, because his sole focus is staying out of prison. That's really what's on his mind. That's why he's flailing all around. But no. Republicans, your problem is personality and policy.
And set the world on fire. If we can get our personality problems fixed, we'll win this election, because their policies.
If we can get our personality problems fixed in the next 9 weeks, then, well, that's not how people work. So I'm sorry to let you know that, but people seldom change at all. But if and when people do change, it takes time and effort, and not 9 weeks. You know, and even at that, there's only so much a person can change. You can't change who you are inherently. You know, you can work on different traits. You know what I'm saying? But you can never genuinely change your personality. Like, you can't. It's who you are.
These are never going to be fixed by them. They'll never change course. I don't know who she's going to pick for vice president, but they won't do a damn thing different than she's doing.
Well, interesting to hear you say personality problems are your party's issues. Obviously, talking about Donald Trump's personality. Senator, let me get your take on this, because everyone is watching.
Deeper than him, I promise you. Okay. We have a lot of personality problems in our party.
Okay, well,
you basically just said the Republican Party sucks. Yeah. All right, let's see. And yeah, see, again, here we go. Like I said, like, whenever people are like, well, you know, Tim Walz, you know. Right, exactly. You can't. There's only so much that people can change. Again, you can improve. You absolutely can better yourself, but you're never really gonna. You're not gonna change that much. It's just you won't. You can't. But again, this is perfect right here. You know, whenever they're like, well, you know, the moderate Democrats, aka Republicans, who aren't going to vote for you anyway, you know, what will the moderates think? Again, this is perfect. What a monster. I'm such a do they have the video? Oh, of course they didn't put the video in here. But yeah, what a monster. Kids can eat. Yep, what a monster. Kids are eating and having full bellies so they can go learn. And women are making their own healthcare decisions. And we're a top 5 business state, and we also rank in the top 3 of happiness, Walz told CNN during an interview on July 28th. Look, they're going to label whatever they're going to label. Right, exactly. And that always really pisses me off about Democrats, or not even just like Democrats, but like the Democratic apparatus is like, they'll be like, well, you know, Republicans are going to say something. Of course they're going to say something. Why wouldn't they? They should say something. It's a competition. It's a battle. You know, that's what it is. It's a fight to the finish. Why wouldn't they say something? But again, luckily, it's looking like we're moving into a new era where there's a lot more opportunity for us to get in office. And when I say us, I mean, you know, like Gen X on down, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. It's our time. But yeah, it's oh well, I don't know. Republicans, they're gonna fight. So let's just back down. We've moved past that point. We've moved beyond that. And here we go, JD Vance talking about. I cannot wait to see Tim Walz light JD Vance's ass up, and not even just in like a debate setting. Man, ooh, he's about to tear their asses apart. He's gonna be tearing Trump ass up too. He's gonna be tearing all their asses up. yeah, they really are not ready for him at all. What a great pick, man. This is so encouraging. What a great fucking pick for VP. This is awesome. I'm excited. I can't even lie. I'm excited. Um, but I mean, even if they're not Republicans, it's politics. People people are gonna say something. Tim Walz's record is a joke. Again, what's your record? You're 39. You've done nothing in politics. Like, like it's not like you've been in public office since your mid-20s. There are people who have been in office in government since, like earlier mid-20s, but you're not one of those people. You're not. So Tim Walz, his record, what's your record? You've done nothing. Nothing. You're the worst VP pick ever.
Calm down. We've got to give the fake news a few questions here, though I'm sure we have. I'm sure we have, hopefully, a few honest journalists here in the audience. Ma'am.
Yeah, I'm excited about this ticket again because I think that I'm pretty confident that the Harris administration is going to be more progressive than Joe Biden and Obama. And Biden got more done in 4 years than Obama did in 8. It's just the truth. It's the truth. I think there's really good chance to push her in the right direction. And again, like I said, it will only benefit her brand to be the first woman president who goes in there and passes a bunch of progressive measures. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. All right.
So first of all, the reason I didn't say a whole lot about Tim Walz is because the Democrats have shown.
Oh well, Stoned Assassin. I'm gonna be traveling a whole lot starting very soon. As soon as I move back to New York, I'm gonna be traveling. So we're gonna have to make that happen.
A willingness to pull a little switcheroo on us. So I don't even know if we're actually going to get Tim Walz out of this.
Dude, shut up.
The reason I didn't say a whole lot about Tim Walz is because the Democrats have showed a willingness to pull a little switcheroo on us. So I don't even know if we're actually going to get Tim Walz out of.
They're such pathetic losers. And again, he says this like he has so much experience. In my many years of being an elected official, dude, you've done nothing.
This campaign, and I think that a lot of us are asking ourselves, well,
again, what does that mean? Like, well, they might do why would they do a switcheroo?
Well, it's not going to be official until the Democrats actually nominate him, I guess, at their convention next week. So that's the first reason. The second reason is, look, Tim Walz's record is a joke. He's been one of the most far-left radicals in the entire United States government.
I really don't like JD Vance. And because he's so fake. He's so fake. He's such a phony, man. I mean, this dude has done backflips and cartwheels to change his positions on everything. Like, dude, everything you say is BS.
At any level, but I think that what Tim Walz's selection says is that
again, what the fuck does that mean? The most radical left agenda. Care to elaborate? No, of course not.
Kamala Harris has bent the knee to the far left of her party, which is what she always does. Kamala Harris listened to the Hamas wing of the party. She selected
the Hamas wing of the party. It's how the Hamas wing of the party. Right, exactly. He talking about himself. He just called progressives the Hamas wing of the party. I mean, look, listen, that's why I said, y'all, it's still a little early, but don't be surprised if Kamala and Walz like sweep the floor with these guys because of shit like this. It's again not just the excitement around the Democratic campaign now, but stuff like this. You go around it with every appearance that they make, they're just turning off more voters. The swing, what do you think what do you think Arab Americans are gonna think when they hear shit like the Hamas wing of the party? This is the worst campaign I've ever seen in my life.
Tim Walz, a guy who wants to ship more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to give illegal aliens driver's license, and who wants to make the fentanyl crisis that we just heard about so much worse.
So weak, so weak, so weak. Yeah, I really, this is the weakest campaign I've ever seen. And again, remember, for over a year, I've been saying, how the hell is Donald Trump going to be able to run a campaign that's worth a damn at all? And it's the second Joe Biden got out of the race, his campaign went the second he got out of the race. And he was barely beating Joe Biden. He was barely beating him. You know, it was like this narrative where it was like, oh, Trump's just running away with it. I mean, yeah, he was definitely poised to win, but it's not like he really wasn't that far ahead. He really wasn't.
Because he refuses to do his job and actually make it easier for American citizens and not illegal aliens to live a good life. So I think what it says is that Kamala Harris is running as a San Francisco liberal. She is governed as a San Francisco liberal, and she's chosen a running mate who will be a San Francisco-style liberal. The last thing that I'll say about Tim Walz is, to her credit, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do make an interesting team, because if we remember the rioting in the summer of 2020, Tim Walz was the guy who let rioters burn down Minneapolis, and then Kamala Harris was the one who bailed the rioters out of jail. So there's an interesting team.
He literally any other pick would have been better than him. He just doesn't have it. He ain't got it. JD Vance ain't got it. I mean, like, even like, you take away like his lies, his flip-flops, his ridiculous comments that he's made on people without kids and all that shit. Take all that away. He doesn't have, like, where's his juice? Where's his sauce? Where's his drip? I don't see it anywhere. I don't feel it anywhere. He's so whack. Anybody would have been better than this dude. And then, and again, like, what's the Trump campaign doing? That, and then stuff like this, like they're that, and then they're saying shit like, hold on, let me pull this up. Trump campaign roasted over slamming Walz for helping to allow convicted felons to vote. I mean, it's just the Trump Vance campaign is a joke. This shit is the worst shit I've ever seen in my life. Don't be surprised if they get blown the fuck out. At least by bigger margins than last time. Don't be surprised. From proposing his own carbon-free agenda to suggesting stricter emission standards for gas-powered cars and embracing policies to allow convicted felons to vote, Walz is obsessed with spreading California's dangerously, because Walz, California. I think I have something pulled up about how Walz went to San Francisco for like the first time last month, and JD Vance spent quite a bit of time there. If Walz won't tell voters the truth, we will. Just no one's, but see, that's the problem. No one's listening to y'all anymore. No one. Well, when I say no one, I mean, like, people have pretty much made up their minds. Listen, Donald Trump almost got assassinated and he got no bump in the polls. That means that people's minds are made up about him. He's not getting new people. It's not happening. This motherfucker almost got assassinated, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Yeah, and yep, 100%. Thanks to the Tweedledee and Tweedledum, JD Vance is the pick. Like, this is one of the worst. I've never seen a campaign this bad in my life, ever. I mean, Harris and Walz barely have to do anything at all. Kevin O'Leary thwarts Laura Ingram's attempt to cast Harris' campaign as being bankrolled by billionaires. Let's see what he says.
You're Kamala Harris right now. You're killing it on what matters. What matters in a campaign is money, particularly now, and she's killing it raising money.
Why are the billionaires giving her money? Kevin, you know these people.
No,
My
she's not getting it from
know.
Billionaires.
Why?
She's getting it.
Silicon Valley and Wall Street.
At a time. She's killing it. Look, I'm not defending
Kevin O'Leary, who is really obnoxious, but he's a super Republican, is sitting here saying, God, it's so over. It's so over. This shit is so over.
Wall Street is shoveling money at Kamala Harris. Why is that? You know they are.
Because it's working. Because she's figured out how to get these.
And again, Kevin O'Leary is correcting this. I mean, Laura Ingersoll, because Wall Street doesn't give money to Republicans. Famously, Republicans are for the working man. That's what their platform's all about. It's about the little guy. Get out of here, man.
Look, I'm just.
And she doesn't believe it. You can, bro. These people are defeated. They lost. They already lost.
Telling you the facts.
Okay.
You don't want to hear them? I won't tell them to you.
No, but
she's raising
it's
money.
not working for regular people. I'm not talking about her campaign.
What do you mean you're not talking about her campaign?
We know that rich people want to keep wages down for the middle class. That's happening and has happened over decades. We want to know why the billionaires in Silicon Valley, the ones who got hammered when Google was declared an antitrust violation today. I don't like that ruling, I can tell you that. Why are they shoveling money to Kamala Harris? Because she's a champion of the middle class?
No, I'm answering a different question. When you're asking the right question, when do we get policy? And I'm telling you, it won't be until after August 7th. That's when the race begins. And here's the risk, okay? A week ago, when I talked to these very same advisors, they said 20% of them were unhappy that they didn't run a process and missed out on sucking even more media through a convention strategy to August 7th. And if she was going to emerge as the winner, she would have, but they would have sucked more media. Now here's the new risk. I call it sunny times because we've recently seen this happen. Back up in Canada, we had a candidate who never, ever gave policy, never did an interview, and just kept saying, don't worry, I'm bringing sunny times. And that's exactly what she's doing. Now, I don't know if she has executional skills. Nobody does. But what she's going to have to do is move these policies into the middle, because she's not going to get Pennsylvania on gun control.
Okay, now they're just sounding like dumb Republicans. But again, I mean, it's like, so yeah, the billionaires are all for Democrats, but not, not at all for Republicans. Because, again, on the Republican side, you got weirdos like John Voight, who we're about to check out. Bunch of weirdos. Mr. Voight. John Voight ups the ante on his pro-Trump videos by claiming the left is trying to take away your children. Again, like, okay. Okay, let's see what he has to say, because I don't really know how that's supposed to work, but we'll see.
My friends, this is the war of our lifetime now. We the people are in trouble if this nation picks Kamala Harris. We must stop this crime that is happening. It's a war crime that Obama is directing, and Kamala Harris will be the cackling hyena that just listens and repeats. If we do not stop this horror, you, my friends, will have the biggest horror.
John Voight lived to be 80-something years old, and he's this dumb. It always really blows my mind. It's like, how do you go your whole life and then end up like just knowing jack shit about anything?
That you will not know how to end. We must all see this truth. Become one with this understanding that God will guide us with words of wisdom, that we may understand that Donald Trump will make any sacrifice to save America. We the people are in danger, and we must vote for President Trump because he will save this nation. And the left are all afraid of his strength because he is only for the people. He's not for the power, for the greed, the lies, or wanting to destroy one's hard-earned earnings. We must stop this madness now. Our children are in danger. The left is trying to take away your children and turn them into non-binaries. Our children are in danger. The left is trying to take away your children and turn them into non-binaries.
The left is trying to take away your children and turn them into non-binaries. All of them, each and every single last one of the millions and millions of children that exist in this nation.
You all on the left, the ones who are my peers that preach, you all know who you are. What have you all learned in this life? Have you learned the lessons that will bring you to the higher place of eternity? This is now all your lessons. For each one who votes against Trump, this will be among the worst crimes that you will see in your lives. And you know why? This nation has criminals killing your child father, brother, friend, you, because of the left mentality allowing this.
This is this is why Republicans are not in a in good shape, because like, what is this? I mean, come on, man. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And this is so many of them. It's not like there's a few people in the party like this. There's a lot of people in the party like this that are just like, again, like Tim Walz put it, a bunch of weirdos.
Border to be open. The ones who are on the left who fight against Trump will pay a price for the injustice of lies that are Kamala Harris and Obama. And all of you who think this is the greatest economy, you will find that your life will sink into a hole of darkness, and the freedom we all once had will be burned in the dark plague of the darkest time in history, like the destruction of the Civil War.
What?
My fellow Americans, we've come too far, and this life we were given was the blessing of God, and this is our hope.
I would not talk to my dad if he was like this. I'd be like, bro, I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
To remember that he shall chant the words of Psalm 25 and in the Torah, Isaiah 55. We shall overcome. May God watch over us and bring this nation back together so her beauty will shine with her glory, the red, white, and blue. God bless America. And he will protect our nation against this evil left. And Donald Trump will make America great again.
Okay. And you know what else? What does Obama have anything to do with this? And the other thing about this is it's just like I forgot what the hell I was about to say, man. These people drive me crazy. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, up until recently, Republicans really felt like, oh, we're Trump's gonna win in a landslide. Everybody's on board with this stuff. This is like, nah, most people ain't on board with this. I don't know, Lord of Bananas. I don't know what the hell that was. I really don't even have any commentary to give, because I don't know what the hell that was. All right, now Bret Baier praises Kamala Harris's pick. What does he have to say?
I mean, this guy hunts. He ice fishes. He's one of those guys. He talks about rural America and how Donald Trump doesn't understand it.
That's a good point that Bret Baier just made, and also a good indication in terms of why Walz was a good pick. He's like, no, these guys are phonies. I'm the one who actually grew up like this. I'm the one who knows about it. And I actually delivered for people, and they appreciate what I've done for them.
On the flip side, Donald Trump and the former president and J.D. Vance are talking directly to those folks and trying to get those folks, just like they built that coalition Trump did in 2016. Listen, we just have to think about the party, the Democratic Party. The delegates themselves are really controlled by progressives.
What?
If you think back to
the delegates are controlled by progressives. These people, they lost. They already lost, because I can't even follow this shit. What are y'all talking about?
Power of Bernie Sanders after 2016, when Hillary Clinton goes on to get that nomination. The power inside was very progressive, and it still may be, because labor, weighed in on the scales on this choice. Progressives in the party weighed in, and this is who Vice President Harris chose.
Hang on one second here, Brett. A lot of reaction coming in. I'm just going to read this for our viewers. Here's Ron DeSantis out of Florida. Harris Walz, most left-wing ticket in American history. Minnesota was ground.
And again, these attacks are so empty. They don't mean anything. Like, for people who are on the fence, when they just hear, oh, Kamala's she's so left-wing, she's such a radical leftist, that's not going to convince anybody of anything. If you're still on the fence,
Zero for the BLM riots in 2020. Harris egged it on, and Walz sat by and let Minneapolis burn. So that's his initial reaction. Kellyanne Conway, who works with this.
He sat by and let Minneapolis burn. Yeah, well, there's a few people who have that sentiment, but then there's the people who the Derek Chauvin being in prison is because of Tim Walz. So there's a whole lot more people who are looking at it like that. But of course, you know, these people are a bunch of idiots. That was John Voight. You list that. He does kind of look like Christopher Walken, but Christopher Walken's a lot funnier than him. But yeah, no, John Voight and Christopher Walken kind of do look alike. All right, here we go. Exactly. They say that about every Democrat. And especially at this point, it's like, y'all got to do better than this, but they can't. They can't. Labor unions say Tim Walz walks the walk on working class agenda. We know that Governor Walz will be a strong partner in the Harris White House, fighting every day to improve the lives of workers and communities across America. Leading U.S. labor unions on Tuesday joined environmentalist reproductive rights campaigners, progressive lawmakers, and others in applauding Democratic nominee Kamala Harris's selection of Tim Walz as her running mate for the November election, citing his pro-worker record as a congressman and Minnesota's governor. The AFL-CIO, the nation's largest federation of unions, noted in a statement that Walz, quote, delivered on a comprehensive pro-union legislative package and created the gold standard for state governors aiming to do right by workers. The Guardian's Stephen Greenhouse described the measure, which Walz signed into law last year, as, quote, one of the most pro-worker packages of legislation that any U.S. state has passed in decades. Oh, yeah. Again, tell me again how and why this won't resonate with middle America. Tell me how and why this won't resonate with, with voters, with moderate voters. I don't know. I really don't see that because famously, moderate voters don't like having good jobs. They don't like that. The law, Greenhouse observed, quote, includes paid family and medical leave, prohibits non-compete clauses, bars employers from holding anti-union captive audience meetings, and strengthens protections for meatpacking workers and Amazon warehouse employees. Yeah, so terrible, so horrible. Middle America is not going to be in favor of this at all. They because again, famously, people don't like making good money and having good benefits. That's not what people want. It also mandates paid sick days, allows teachers unions to bargain over educator to student ratios, and creates a statewide council to improve conditions for nursing home workers. The sweeping pro-worker reforms were part of what's come to be known as the Minnesota Miracle. Quote, Gov. Walz isn't only an ally to the labor movement, but also our union brother with a deep commitment to a pro-worker agenda. Liz Schuler, president of the AFL-CIO, said Tuesday that by selecting Governor Tim Walz as her running mate, Kamala Harris chose a principled fighter and labor champion who will stand up for working people and strengthen this historic ticket. Again, hell, man, this is a good day. This is a good day in politics. We know that Governor Walz will be a strong partner in the Harris White House, fighting every day to improve the lives of workers and communities across America. Governor Walz isn't all okay. We just read that up here. The agenda, according to union leaders, stands in sharp contrast with that of Republican nominee Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, both of whom have worked to gut worker protections. The labor movement stands united behind the Harris-Walz ticket, and we are ready to help lead the effort to defeat Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, and their anti-worker Project 2025 agenda. Tim Walz, not only is he the most progressive pick, but I think that he's going to end up being probably easily the best, most effective candidate too. In terms of how he handles things, how he speaks, how people deal with them. Oh, you see that? Oh man, I'm sore. Oh, I'm so sore. And I stayed up till 4 a.m, which I really didn't need to do. I didn't need to do that. And I still got to go for a run today. I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna be so damn tired. But it's all good. It's all good. This is just a funny headline because now Republicans are acting like, oh, the Democrats are anti-Semitic because they chose Walz over Shapiro. Schumer hits back at conservative radio host saying Jews, quote, aren't allowed a top Democratic Party. Chuck Schumer comes out and says, that's news to me. Yeah, that's probably one of the best one-liners ever. Like I'm pretty much one of the most powerful Democrats in the whole country, and my last name is Schumer. So but yeah, no, they're kind of going with this type of stuff. Oh, they didn't pick Shapiro because he's Jewish. Like, no, they didn't pick Shapiro because Walz is a better choice. It's really as simple as that. You know, it's really not more complicated than that at all. Walz is a better choice. And even yes, it will help me go to sleep early, so it'll be all good. It'll be just fine. It'll work out. You know, we got Donald Trump bullying Imani Khalif. You know, because of course, because this is what's going to help you win the election.
I used to use the barbells. I said, now all you have to do is look at the boxers. This young girl from Italy, a champion boxer, she got hit so hard she didn't know what the hell hit her. It's a person that
Oh, she's a boxer and she got punched in the face. That was ridiculous that girl really was crying and quit. Oh, I've never been hit that hard. Oh, you're a boxer. Big, you know, whoop-de-fucking-do. That's kind of the whole point. That's kind of the whole thing with combat sports is you're beating the shit out of each other. That's kind of the whole point.
transitioned. It's a person that transitioned.
No.
He was a good male boxer. Yeah. He was a good male boxer. And she didn't even go down. He hit her with 2 jabs and
She just said he hit her with 2 jabs. Oh, these people make me mad. These people make me mad. That's probably why I'm always mad, because I fucking work in politics. These people piss me off, man. I don't even want to watch the rest of it. He just said he hit her twice. Oh, guess what, Donald Trump? Yo ass. Not only is Donald here, check this out, right? Check this out. Not only is Donald Trump about to lose, he's going to go to prison. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to go to prison because if he's not president and he can't pardon himself, why wouldn't he go to prison? He's guilty many times over, and he still has several more criminal trials to go, all of which are more consequential than the Stormy Daniels shit. So again, Donald Trump is going to lose, and then he's going to go to jail. I mean, like, because what are the arguments for him not? Oh, they won't do that. Why won't they do that? Why won't they send him to prison? What does Trump have to offer anybody at this point? If Donald Trump's not president, he has nothing to offer people. Nothing. He has thrown everybody under the bus. He's ruined people's careers. He's ruined people's lives. He's destroyed the Republican Party. And he's dragging the whole party down with him still. And he ain't got no money no more. I mean, this dude owes hundreds of millions of dollars that he really doesn't have, and he's still getting fined. So please help me understand. Please help me understand why he won't go to prison. Why are they going to do him favors? Why is a man who has nothing to offer going to be protected? He won't. And again, of course, we still got to wait and see. But when people say he's not going to go to prison, usually they just say, "Oh, they won't do that." I'm sorry, but that's not an answer. That's not an answer. It's not. But again, obviously, we still got to wait and see. But I don't see any reason why he won't. I don't. I really don't. All right, where we at now? What do I have? What do I have pulled up here? No, we don't need to watch that. It was some shit with Van Jones, but Van Jones is kind of annoying. I support Imani Khalif, man. I support her. She's getting closer to the gold. I hope she wins it. I hope she wins it just so she can be that much more of a legend. You know what I'm saying? Such BS. They're such assholes. These people make me so mad. Ugh. All right, where we got now? Speaking of, we checked her out yesterday, right? You know, the 25-year-old Latino woman who's running for Secretary of State here in my home state of Missouri, who is not going to get anywhere near winning for many reasons. One, because you're a barely English speaking Latina who's running as a Republican. So you know that'll do it for you in Missouri. In Missouri, you're in Missouri, you know, and let me tell. I don't know if y'all knew, but let me tell y'all something about my home state of Missouri. This is a very conservative state, very red state. This there's no question which way this state leans. So yeah, and then her campaign's just stupid on top of that. Like it's true, yeah, the Republican apparatus is filled with a lot of racists, it's filled with bigots and stuff like that. Um, yeah, good point, Fritz. So that there is still a chance for him to stay out of prison, but it's gonna be really tough because he doesn't have anything to offer people anymore. But we will see. We will find out. But again, like on top of that, her campaign is ridiculous. It just is. Like I really haven't seen anybody else be as hardcore as her. I mean, like you see what's blocked out, right? I mean, she calls gay people the F slur all the time. She's always saying just really over the top dumb things that highlight that she's not a bright person. She's a very dumb woman, and she's only 25 as well. So, what I'm saying, she's largely most people at 25, you're just not as mature or wise as you will be when you're 35 or 32 or 30. Typically what happens is you get older, you learn more. So she's just a very dumb young woman. And now she got her brother fired. So let's check that out. MAGA candidate seized with rage after her unhinged homophobia got her brother fired from his job. Again, like it completely over the top. Like beyond over the top. She calls LGBTQ people slurs regularly. Her brother, who serves on an LGBTQ task force, donated to her campaign. It's just she's not going to be able to do much of anything else with her. She's honestly, this campaign has ruined her life. She's going to have to go back home to wherever the hell it is that she came from. How ironic is that? But no, she honestly has ruined her life with this campaign. She's not going to be able to get a decent job anywhere. And even Republicans aren't going to want her around because what is this? What is this? Republican Missouri Secretary of State candidate Valentina Gomez is outraged that her brother lost his job for supporting her campaign with a $1,250 check. But her brother's former boss is sharing text messages online to show why exactly her brother got fired. Valentina Gomez has built her campaign on homophobia, from burning LGBTQ books with a flamethrower to making, quote, "Don't be weak and gay," her campaign slogan. Again, that's just this is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like even for Republicans, like it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? It's just too much. This is ridiculous. Don't be weak and gay. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that even mean? My girl, shut up. Her campaign slogan to posting videos using the F word. And we just watched that yesterday. She was like, these faggots should like, what are you doing? What are you doing? In a party that generally does not support LGBTQ rights, Valentina Gomez stands out for how cartoonishly hateful her public statements are. Yeah. Again, it's like, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Her brother, Jonathan Gomez Noriega, served until yesterday on the staff of Jersey City, New Jersey. He's in Jersey City, and she's here in Missouri. Mayor Steve Fulop, D, and Democrat, and on the city's LGBTQ task force, Outreach and Public Relations Committee. The Jersey City Times reported that he donated $1,250 to his sister's campaign. Okay. And again, even if there was all of this out, like you're not going to get elected to be Secretary of State at 25. Like it's not happening. That's too important and too big of a position. You're not really looking at getting something like that probably until you're at least in your mid 40s. Don't nobody exactly, Fritz. She's probably gay herself and can't accept it because her bigotry is just is like so unbelievably over the top to the point that it's really not even offensive. Like she's so over the top, it's hard to get offended by it because it's so stupid. It's like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna walk away now and move on with my day. But yeah, we're okay. So, quote, this decision comes after careful consideration and is in response to the continued refusal of Jonathan Gomez Noriega to condemn the hateful and divisive anti-LGBTQ rhetoric espoused by his sister. Another local organization, the JC LGBTQ Plus Alliance Against Hate, started a petition to have Jonathan Gomez Noriega removed from office. Again, not only has she's ruined her life with this. Like she's never ever going to be able to do anything significant. And unfortunately for her, she's honestly too young to realize what she's doing to herself. She is going to regret this because and not only that, but you've also ruined your brother's professional life too. People in the community where he works were outraged. Hudson Pride Center Executive Director Elizabeth Sheedle announced that she was resigning from the LGBTQ plus task force in protest of Jonathan Gomez Noriega and would only join the task force when he is gone. Yeah, and again, like at her age, she should be running for city council or something like that, or maybe even mayor. Like you run for mayor, run for city council, not mayor of mayor of whatever town that she's in. Not mayor of St. Louis, obviously, but whatever little town she's in. But yeah, I mean, a 25-year-old Secretary of State. Come on. Come on. So basically, this is just going over how she's ruined her life and her brother's. Family over everything, she said in a statement. It's very hypocritical that there is a task force for just 1% of the population. Where is the task force for our veterans to sacrifice their youth? Oh, where's the task force for our veterans? Says the woman who's running as a Republican. I mean, she's just, again, she's dumb. This is a dumb woman. And you really just, you're flaming yourself right now. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Transgender people make up 1% or less of the population. So why are you talking about it so much? In regards to the useless Pride Center, I'd love to see the Hudson Pride Center closed its doors completely because our children should be learning mathematics, history, and developing their people skills, not learning how to chop off their body parts and being turned gay. She's definitely gay. She is definitely gay. I don't know that, but I mean, again, it's like, what is this? What is this, man? It says the 25-year-old. On her X account, Valentina Gomez has even more combative and threatened Mayor Fulop with a huge lawsuit that she would lose. She also included a recording of a private phone call between her brother and his boss. Stephen, you should have chosen your words more carefully with my brother because you do not sound like a Democratic mayor. You sound like a dictator. What are you gonna do? You should have chosen your words more carefully with my brother. I'm 25. Girl, shut up. Your ass ain't gonna do nothing but lose is what you gonna do. In the recording that she shared, Mayor Fulop tells Jonathan Gomez Noriega, if you think that is boldness, I'm gonna fire you. I'm gonna look in 5 minutes. If it's not clear where you hold on, if it's not clear where you then you're not with this shit is written really bad. you're with her and you can't work with me, period. Okay. Like, that's it. No, just 5. He said, if you don't get this, nip this in the bud in 5 minutes, you're done. Fulop responded to Valentina Gomez saying that her brother was, quote, an at-will employee for the city and that he is no longer employed as of today. You can see how strongly I feel about the LGBTQ community, and I'll share the text messages we exchanged. So people, what? Oh, okay, yeah, AI wrote this because this is so poorly written. I'll fight for them when people are watching and same when they can't see what I'm doing, Fulop wrote. Again, here you're saying your brother was an employee. He doesn't reflect our values. He had to go. Okay, here she is. What she's saying. This had to go over to X. Hold on. Jersey City, Stephen Fulop. Again, I mock her accent. She speaks English just fine, but I mock her accent because of who she is and what she's doing. You know, you're running as a Republican in Missouri. You're in Missouri. And you say 2 words and everybody can tell that you didn't grow up here. And look at your campaign. Your hateful, bigoted, stupid campaign when you have a thick accent. and clearly clearly she likes women. Clearly. Watch it. Stephen Fulop.
Today, the mayor of Jersey City, Stephen Fulop, who is trying to be the next governor of New Jersey, just threatened
the next governor of New Jersey. This is amazing. Again, your life is ruined. You're never going to be able to do anything because of you.
My brother with firing him, and I caught him on video. Fulop is making him choose between his family or his job.
Who cares? I'm 25. I don't know anything. I've barely done anything with my life. I'm 20. Like, girl, you sound like such a 20-something-year-old right now. And I'm only 32, so it's not like I'm like super up there, but like she sounds like a stupid little kid.
Stephen, you should have chosen your words more carefully with my brother because you do not sound like a Democratic mayor. You sound like a dictator.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
You cannot be governor. This is not the way to treat your employees.
It's not that, no, this isn't the way to treat your employees. Okay. Girl, shut up.
Or any human being. But I will let the people decide. Here's the reporting.
And John, if you think that is boldness, I am going to fire you. I'm going to look in 5 minutes. If it's not clear where you stand, then you're not with me. You're with her, and you can't work with me. Period. Okay? Like, that's it.
End
of story. 5 minutes.
Today, the mayor.
And again, she just made it worse. She just made it worse for herself. That's incredible. I don't know what we got here. Oh, we got Sarah Huckabee Sanders. But again, the only reason I mock her accent is because of who she is, what she stands for, and the fact that she's running as a Republican in the middle of Missouri. Like, girl, you think that these country ass white people in the middle of the country are gonna vote for your accent having Latina ass? You got a lot to learn, sister. You got a whole lot to learn. All right, what we got here? We got more commentary from the Republican side. But yeah, no, she's easily one of the most ridiculous people I've ever seen. She makes me mad. She just makes me mad. And again, do we care that she has an accent? No, but Republicans in Missouri, they absolutely care that you have an accent. You're not an American to them. Trust me, they don't consider you to be an American. Stunning choice. Kayleigh McEnany suggests there's a lot of cheering at Mar-a-Lago over Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz. Well, of course she has to say that, but she doesn't believe it. But let's see what she has to say.
Kayleigh McEnany now joins us in studio, and good morning to you. Already Republicans are saying this is the most extreme ticket in political history. What's your take on Tim Walz on the undercard now?
This is a stunning choice. I imagine there's a lot of cheering at Mar-a-Lago at the moment. Look, Tim Walz, he's no one to scoff at. He unseated a 6-term Republican in Congress. He won a conservative district. He began as a moderate. And then he had a radical transformation as soon as he got a trifecta. And
I'm definitely gonna after this I'm gonna go for a run. But when I'm done with that, I'm gonna be listening to the rally and everything like that. I definitely gotta catch up on that.
Minnesota. I think it is fair to call him a progressive in sheep's clothing. When you look at his record over the last few years, what you see are transgender surgeries for minors, carbon electrical grid by 2040, driver's licenses for illegal immigrants. In function, his abortion policy allows abortion until birth. These are policies that are far to the left of America. And as John McCormick at the Wall Street Journal pointed out, Kamala Harris has to do the exact opposite of what Tim Walz did. Tim Walz became more progressive. Kamala Harris is trying to become more moderate. But Republicans are going to say, you've shed all your progressive policies, but yet you chose a progressive instead of the guy who...
And again, once you get to this point, you've already won, because it blows my mind anytime. Oh Jesus! You hear Republicans talk about Democrats as if they're running as Republicans. They're not. They're not running as Republicans. It doesn't matter if Republicans don't like them. But the Republican crumble is real. All right, we got Sean Hannity blaming Biden and Harris for the market crash in Japan. Because of course. All right.
For the third straight trading day, stocks plummeting.
They stocks went up today also. When I woke up this morning, I saw something about the Dow went up 300 points because of course.
Collapsing amid fears of a global recession and rising unemployment, while major industries are buckling under high interest rates. The Dow was down more than 1,000 points. The S&P suffered its worst day since the market sell-off in 22, erasing $1.4 trillion in a matter of hours. This is day 3 of what...
Exactly, Mayor. And then when they have like the screen up where they're like showing her policies, it'd be like, she wants to legalize marijuana. She's against fracking. Like she helped return 18 or $20 billion to defrauded bank customers. Oh, this is so terrible. Nobody wants that.
President Trump is now calling the Kamala crash, and the hemorrhaging is not over. Japan's stock market, they just posted their worst day since Black Monday from 19.
Yes, Fritz, that's a good question. The ultimate question of the day. How exactly does that work? Kind of goes against the definition.
1987. All of this being fueled by the very real fears that the Biden-Harris economy will spiral this country in a full-on recession in spite of all the proclamations.
Oh, these people are so dumb. They're so dumb, and they get paid millions and millions of dollars to be dumb on TV. Bill O'Reilly slams Trump for making a lot of errors by picking fights on the campaign trail.
Host of the No Spin News, author of the coming book, Confronting the President's No Spin Assessments from Biden to Washington. Also wrote his column of the week, which I read over the weekend. Mr. O'Reilly, good to see you. Welcome back to the program. You are going to, I know, talk about how the media is giving Kamala Harris a pass. She's not coming out, on and on and on. If we turn this around, at some point, don't Republicans, conservatives, whatever you want to call them, acknowledge how fundamentally flawed as a candidate Donald Trump is?
Why would they do that? They think that Kamala Harris is much worse than Trump, no matter what Trump does. So why would they acknowledge anything like that? That doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying that they would acknowledge it publicly. I'm saying that the punditry must acknowledge and take a little bit of responsibility that Donald Trump, for all the reasons I listed, should be up high single, low double digits. And yet, by his own unforced errors, he's giving this to Kamala Harris.
Well, he's making a lot of errors, no doubt about that. The Georgia thing, you shrug your shoulders. But pundits on either side are never going to admit they make a mistake. They make a lot of money supporting or attacking various candidates. That's what they do. Honesty is not really an equation anymore on television news.
I guess that's true. All right, what we got? What we got now? Oh yeah, see, and here we go with this. Again, more of it looks like what they're doing is, oh, there's anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party because Kamala didn't choose Josh Shapiro. Like, yeah, that's how that works. JD Vance blames anti-Semitism in advance if Kamala does not pick Josh Shapiro. So I guess, well, this article came out today, but let's see.
Vance, we expect a running mate to be announced by Vice President Harris today. If it's not Josh Shapiro, I will be stunned. But if it isn't Josh Shapiro,
exactly, Fritz. So they can just go ahead and share that money because it ain't like they worked that hard for it.
If they pick Tim Walz, who makes Tim Kaine seem like Justin Timberlake, he's really the most boring man in America. If it's not Josh Shapiro, and that's because he'll be Jewish in America, like he's really Tim Kaine seem like Justin Timberlake, he's really the most boring man in America. Josh Shapiro. If they pick Tim Walz, who makes Tim Kaine seem like Justin Timberlake, he's really the most boring man in America.
Okay, whoever JD Vance is talking to on the radio doesn't know anything about politics because he just said that Tim Walz is like Tim Kaine. He said that Tim Walz is the most boring man in America, and that's just painfully untrue. It's just not. Like, Tim Walz is not a boring man to listen to or watch. So, and honestly, this is one of the biggest issues with the Republicans right now, is because he said even O'Reilly looked tired of himself. Exactly, like, oh, I gotta be on here again, listen to see myself on the camera. But again, Tim Walz is the most boring man in America. If they're not paying any attention. They're not paying any attention at all.
If it's
again, that's just not true.
Not Josh Shapiro, and that's because he'll be Jewish and because he's a supporter of Israel. What does that tell you about the Democratic Party if it's not Josh Shapiro?
What? Okay.
Well, look, if it's not Josh Shapiro, I agree with you. I think that they will have not picked Shapiro, frankly, out of anti-Semitism.
I don't even want to hear the rest of that shit, to be honest, because we've been streaming for a while, and who cares? Who cares? I mean, because again, clearly, that guy doesn't pay any attention to anything whatsoever. Because Tim Walz he's just not boring. He's not a boring person. That's ridiculous. Exactly, Alonzo. Like, no one believes that. Like, you could really not like Tim Walz. Let's say that you don't like Tim Walz's policies, or you don't like him. No one who watches him is going to be like, yeah, he's a boring guy. Like, for instance, there's plenty of people who don't like me and who find me to be very obnoxious. And I'll give it to you, I am kind of obnoxious. Especially, I can be very obnoxious sometimes. But I am not boring. That I am not. You feel me? Like, I'm anything but boring. But yeah, no, that's ridiculous. Kamala Harris, Tim Walz formed first explicitly pro-cannabis legalization presidential ticket in history. Yeah, that's a great way to describe JD Vance. Human NyQuil. That's perfect. I love it. Kamala Harris's selection of Governor Tim Walz as her running mate is a historic milestone for cannabis reform. For the first time, there will be a pro-legalization major party ticket. The U.S. Cannabis Council is confident that a Harris administration will continue to build on the recent progress made by the Biden administration toward ending federal cannabis prohibition and addressing the societal impacts of the drug war. What is happening? Oh, we will find out. Again, like I said, I really think that we have a good chance to have. Yes, exactly, Fritz. See, look, I can admit my faults. I'm quite obnoxious from time to time. I'm obnoxious to myself. Sometimes I look back at things that I've done and said and be like, oh God, why did I say that? But I'm improving. I've come a long way. Believe it or not, I've come a very long way. Nowhere near as obnoxious as I once was. There's still room for improvement. All right, let's see what we got here. I don't know if we even need. There's some of this stuff we don't really need to go over. Maybe not. Yeah, no, we don't need to watch more Laura Ingraham. Trump sends out apocalyptic. Oh yeah, we got to read Trump's fundraising email. Let's see what he had to say. Unleash hell. Okay, so let's see. Former President Donald Trump on Tuesday sent out an apocalyptic fundraising email about Minnesota Governor Tim Walz after Vice President Kamala Harris made him her choice to be her running mate. Via the Washington Post, Philip Bump. That's a nice last name, Bump. The email began by saying Walz, in all caps, would be the worst VP in history, but not, speak for yourself with JD, and then claimed that he would unleash hell on earth. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's going to unleash hell on earth. Oh, okay. As if that weren't enough, the email said Walz would, quote, rubber stamp Kamala's green new scam and light trillions of dollars on fire. I think Trump is now calling Kamala or Kamabla or something like that. Like, man, you're about to lose. You are, God, guys. And again, with every day, Donald Trump is just like, how can I ruin my chances today? In fact, there is no indication that Harris will pursue the Green New Deal promoted by Senator Bernie Sanders. And I mean, the Green New Deal is not even like a written out legislative agenda. It's like an idea. The Green New Deal is like, it's like a proposal to say, hey, we should really put in strong efforts to move towards clean energy. That's what the Green New Deal is. It's not like it's not like a written plan from A to Z. That's not what it is. It's a rough draft. It's like let's get started here. It's like a skeleton. But yeah, they're gonna unleash hell on earth. This is the worst campaign I've ever seen in my life. I don't even know what to say about a lot of this shit. All right, what we got with here? We got more Tim Walz. Oh yeah, let's see. Sarah Huckabee Sanders trying to get at Tim Walz. Yes, exactly, old Dion. Being obnoxious can be entertaining. You just can't do it too much. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know your limits. You gotta know other people's limits. You know what I'm saying? And yes, my boy Kyle, we both have that skill. We can be quite obnoxious from time to time. But you gotta be versatile. You gotta be versatile in this life. Sarah Huckabee Sanders immediately trolled after attack on Tim Walz. The Arkansas governor got an awkward photo reminder after attempting to smear Kamala Harris's VP pick for vice president. What does it say? In our first big decision. Okay, so this is what she posted. In her first big decision, Kamala reveals who she answers to, the far left. The far left. I mean, again, they always say this shit about anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Ratioed by a picture of an overjoyed Tim Walz holding a contented piglet at the Minnesota State Fair. You're like, yeah, he's he's about to be America's uncle. A large portion of the country is going to absolutely fall in love with this man. He definitely was the best choice. At first, maybe he wasn't the best choice on paper, but sometime, well, you gotta be able to see beyond what's on paper. You know what I mean? You really got to be able to see what's beyond the paper, because if all you can see is what's on paper, then you can't really see reality. You know what I'm saying? Because people are more complex than numbers. We just are. People have feelings and people have needs, and feelings and needs cause us to behave in certain kinds of ways. So the far left is in the US feeding kids and economic growth. What a crazy radical. Modern Republicans are creepy and weird. No one likes you except for angry losers. And then we got him, signing a bill to feed the kids. Look at all the kids hugging him, everybody happy. Yeah, he's such an extremist. Tim Walz got every kid in his state school lunch. You loosen child labor laws. I'd sit this one out. The former divide in U.S. politics between families who love dogs and families who torture them. Yes, very good idea to make Walz, Midwestern dad, church-going veteran hunter, high school teacher, and football coach, the new face of the radical far left. Let's see how that plays out. And yeah, again, the anti-Semite, bro, these people, it's over. It's over. And they're beating themselves. They're beating themselves completely. Louisiana governor, what's my man's talking about? Yes, the piggy picture. Again, it's like what it's like, oh, he's this crazy guy, and then here he is holding a little piggy. here he is. And then he's just holding the piggy with a smile on his face. All the children happy that they don't have to be hungry all day. You said, my mom called, then she abruptly ended the call when she got to the dog park. Well, she only needed to talk to you until then. Once she got to the dog park, purpose fulfilled. Goodbye. And then now we got, hold on. The Louisiana governor. Yes, you lost to the dog park. You could have lost to something much worse. Okay, so he advises parents upset about 10 Commandments display in schools to don't look at it. Well, I guess that's the solution. If you have to be in a room with it, then just don't look at it.
Recognize the 10 Commandments as a whole. So really and truly, I don't see what the whole big fuss is about.
The big fuss is that it's really not constitutional. We're not really supposed to do that. The fuss isn't that, it's the 10 Commandments in a sense of like, people are like, Jimmy, you don't have to be like a Hebrew or Christian or Muslim to agree with the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments essentially are just like, it's basically like the social contract with society. That's basically what it is. I mean, there's stuff in there that doesn't really have to do with that, but like, like don't kill people, don't kill, don't lie to people, don't covet, don't be jealous. Don't lie. I think I already said that. Don't steal. Adultery, that can cause issues if you sleep with the wrong people. So like generally speaking, the 10 Commandments are kind of just like a very, very reasonable contract with society. But the problem is that you're not really supposed to mix religion and government because that can go very, very wrong. So he absolutely understands what the big fuss is, because again, most people don't disagree with the 10 Commandments. It's just keep that shit out of public schools.
I may ask either of you, for the children who may not believe in God and see this in the
Yes,
classroom,
put the
where
Bushido
parents are
code.
upset that they may be in their child's classroom, what should they do?
Well, here's what I would say. I think we've forgotten in this country that democracy actually means majority rules. For some kind of way over the last 2 decades or so, for whatever reason, our government has flipped the.
Okay, he's pretending like he doesn't understand. I really don't. I don't feel like there was only like 30 seconds left of it, but we've been doing long streams. We definitely doing longer streams. But yeah, he's pretending like he doesn't understand why people have an issue with that. But he absolutely gets it. All right, we got to see this, because I'm sure y'all saw Trump was on Aiden Ross's stream, which, I mean, whatever, he can do what he wants, but the overwhelming majority of probably like 90 to 95% of Aiden Ross's audience is like 14 or 15. Like they're not old enough to vote. So that didn't really help him much. But we got to see Trump do his dance. That's really all I want to see. So let's check it out.
I'll tell you about TikTok. I'll tell you about TikTok.
Trump would have been so much better off if he just never became president. If he never became president, he would be living it up right now. He wouldn't be dealing with any of this corruption stuff. He wouldn't be dealing with any campaign finance laws. He wouldn't be dealing with none of this. He would just be the ultimate what if. Because then he could ride off into the sunset like, hey man, y'all should have picked me. You should have picked me, but he can't do that now.
Keep TikTok going, whereas Biden and Harris, they have no idea what it means.
And I'm sorry, but wasn't Donald Trump one of the main people, one of the first people and one of the main people who was saying that TikTok has to go? Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong about that. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
And all it's going to do is be good for China the other way. It's not good. We're going to save TikTok.
How is it going to be good for China how would it be good for China if we aren't on TikTok? That would be bad for China if we're not on TikTok, because that means hundreds of millions of people can't use it. All right, now what we got? We're going to close out with this. We got Tim Walz going deep on his expertise as a high school football coach goes viral. I was a defensive coordinator. We ran a 4-4. Again, he's definitely the best choice. Again, on paper, it may not have seemed that way at first, but I think it's just he was definitely the best choice, man. He definitely was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Trump was one of the main people who wanted TikTok gone. At least he was, tweeting and truthing about it. But now let's see what my man's Tim Walz has to say.
Geography teacher.
Mankato West High School?
That's correct.
Is that right? You were also...
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to add, because I hope you were going to add that in, the football coach.
Oh, that's what I want to ask about.
Well, thank you.
Were you a position coach, offensive guy?
I was a defensive coordinator.
Okay. What'd you run?
Yeah, we ran a 4-4 where we read guards at the time. I had really good athletes and good linebackers.
How are your corners?
They were good. That was an age when I was coaching that, it was unusual to see a 2,500 to 3,000 yard passer on the other side, but it was starting to come along.
So they were running the ball a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate you bringing this up.
These guys were crowding the box, making sure they
That's exactly it. And our guards,
contain.
In high school, if you pull a guard, it pretty much know where the ball's going. And if you can teach kids to do that.
Like student body right, student body left, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone is tuning
Thank
out.
you for not allowing the yearbook to close on this chapter of my life.
I do think it's important.
It is important. And I have to tell people this. So look, I did 24 years in the military. I was teaching, and then I started running for Congress. I'm absolutely convinced, and people have told me this, nuts, because you won that state championship.
Really?
You guys won that. Well, we were 0-27. When I took the job, they said, well, we're kind of struggling. We were 0-27. But I had some other coaches I worked with who were great guys. And we said, this is nonsense. Let's just turn this thing around. 3 years later, state champion. Now they're the state powerhouse.
You guys went from 0-27 to state champs in 3 years?
Yeah.
Who was your steroid guy?
0-27 to state champions in 3 years. Oh man, America's about to fall in love with this dude. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He took a 0-27 team and made them state champions. I really like this guy, man. I really like him. How can you not like him? I mean, come on, man. But yes, thank y'all for joining me again today. We had another long stream, an even longer one than yesterday. I think yesterday's was an hour and 51 minutes. Today we broke an hour and 53. But yes, I'll be streaming again tomorrow. I'm gonna start putting in. I need to do some research so I can set up our next mental health episode, because what I want to do. Yes, yeah, he really does, man. Tim, I really hope I get to meet him. I would love to meet him. But the next mental health episode that we're gonna do, I'd like to do like a dive into kind of like interpretations of mental illness in ancient times. So like we'll talk about hysteria, which in a lot of ways was just like, oh, you know, when women would be diagnosed with hysteria for like having opinions and shit like that. Like if a woman had an opinion, she has hysteria. If she loves having sex, she's hysterical. If she doesn't love having sex, well, she's hysterical. So we're going to talk about stuff like that in a variety of other things, but I want to get back to our programming, get back to nerd news, get back to all of that stuff. So thank y'all so much for joining me, and I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you for everything you do. We're going to keep this thing moving, and I will see